Okay, so carnivore works, and I'm not here to dispute that. But why does it work? I think that there's people that have to lose a lot of weight that are maybe looking at this diet, and I know that I did at one point, and it didn't work for me, but it doesn't mean that it can't work for other people. But I just want to put more information out there about why you see this work, why it's being brought up a lot, and I think why people eventually fall off if they do fall off. So it does work, but not for the reasons you may think early on. And I think that's why people gain it back in the long run. So, why it works? It's just a very simplistic eating plan. You're focusing on proteins and fats, and that's pretty much it. You're not focusing on some of the things that are triggered by like sugar, carbs, other stuff. So, it's just a simple principle of eat whole meat, eggs, I think you can eat, and then maybe a couple other things, but you're really focused on high protein meals. And the good part about it is those are easy to do. It's a very simplistic meal plan. It's hard to make mistakes on that because it's just there's no options. So it's pretty straightforward. You end up eating less because you're not eating snacks, you're not eating sugar or carbs, and it's really hard to overeat meat and eggs. Now, it is possible. Somebody like me who does not have great control of portions could very easily still eat in a 3,000 range of calories probably very quickly. Now, I will be full, but I could do it. So the protein keeps you full, so you have less hunger, fewer cravings, and it's really easy to stay consistent because that's really all it is. You're just simplifying throughout your day, the foods that you can eat versus having to make multiple decisions on food alone. And anytime that you look at the behavior of humans, anytime that we can cut down on the decisions we make, we typically do better in the long run. So, why do people like it so early? Well, early you see these fast scale drops, but a lot of it's going to be water weight because what happens is when you eat mostly protein and you're not really taking on a whole bunch of carbs, 1 gram of carb converts into 1 gram of glycogen. And that glycogen is used throughout your body to support your daily day function. The liver has some of that as well, so it can excrete some as it's needed and keep your blood sugar at a consistent level for your brain level. But what happens is when you get rid of all of those carbs and that glycogen drops, glycogen holds about 3 to 4 grams of water per gram of glycogen. So if you get rid of all of your carbs and your glycogen's gone, the body's going to say, okay, we can let this go because we don't have to hold it for our glycogen. So you feel really motivated early on because you're seeing these huge like weight drops, but they're mostly water. And very little of it early on is going to be fat. But there's fewer decisions, like I said, there's less rooms for mistakes because it's just a very simple and effective way of eating. And your consistency can go up pretty easily because it's just simple decisions. But where it can break down, and I think this is where people struggle and kind of find that, oh, hey, this is tougher than it is once you leave that perfect situation, you really haven't learned how to manage your food intake. So then things kind of change. So you can still overeat. Like I said, you can overeat calories in this diet. And at the end of the day, if you're somebody trying to lose lots of fat or you have a lot of weight to lose, calories are king. So if you're not in a calorie deficit, you're not going to continue to lose the fat or weight in general. Um, the high fat adds up as well. So fat has 9 grams of calories. So if you're eating a lot of fat in this diet, that's where you could easily overeat in your calories. Protein has 4 grams or 4 calories per gram. Fats are 9 calories per gram. So eating avocado has a ton of calories in it because of the fat in it. And I think that this overall, because there's not very much flexibility, it is a simplistic diet plan. So when you do get into situations where there's not really a great option or you can't eat a ton of that protein, then you're going to be stuck. So there's not a lot of flexibility. And that's to me when real life kind of gets in the way. I have 2 kids. We're very active. We're at the ballpark. It's hard for me to always be able to eat this way. Going to the and planning ahead is also hard. I mean, some of the days we're just doing good to get by that day. So planning multiple days ahead. If you are prepping, this may be a little bit different situation, but for us, it's just not something that we do because we're just so active with the kids. And you're really not building a habit. So it doesn't teach portion control. There's no real world eating skills that you're learning from this diet. So somebody that has 100 pounds to lose, a lot of our issue early on isn't so much what we've eaten, it's how much we eat. So if you're not learning how much to eat on this diet, and then you go back for some reason, you break, carnivore, you go to a different eating style, you're going to still struggle and probably put on more weight than what you had to begin with because you didn't really learn how to manage those portion controls. And it's not teaching you how to deal with that either because you can eat as much as you want according to the diet as long as you're focused on protein. So, who do I think it helps? I think people that need a reset, or people that like really strict rules, or have a short time period, like you're wanting to get a burst so that you can get back on track. I think it helps those people very well, especially people that are over 100 pounds looking to do these things. I think if you're trying to make it a long term thing and you don't do well with strict rules or a strict diet, this is not a good plan for you. But if these things match up for you, then great. Go ahead and take a shot at it. I think these people should avoid it. So if you have a history of starting a diet and then gaining back the weight, I don't think that this is a good one to do. Or if you need a long term solution, so you're learning how to lose weight over a long period of time, like I am, where I'm focusing, I want to be in my best shape by 40, but I'm trying to lose 30 pounds in the next 100 days. Those things, like, I think those people should avoid it because it's not going to work. Or if you have a busy lifestyle, I think busy lifestyle makes this very hard, especially if you have kids and you're not at home and you can't prep. It's going to be a very difficult diet to push forward. So the truth is, it works, and it works because typically you are in a calorie deficit, and that's it. Like you're in a calorie deficit because you're cutting out a whole portion of your macros. I think a better approach to this would be track your food, walk daily, and stay consistent. I think the flexibility of being able to eat what you want, just not how much, is a huge piece that people trying to lose over 100 pounds need to think about. So, my final thought is if it only works when it's in that perfect, when life is perfect, it's not going to last. Because I don't know about you, but with my kids, we always have something that's going on or life's changing. We had a baseball game taken off tonight, it was put back on. Like, we had to adjust our plans for this evening because it's been put back on. So if you're somebody that really it gets in a situation where you can only do it in these situations, this probably will not work. There are people out there that love this diet and do it very well, and they're very good at it. And kudos to them. It didn't work for me, and I hope that it can work for other people that are in my situation, but it just didn't fit with my lifestyle. And that's the one thing I've tried to change is making my diet and my weight loss journey fit into my life. Because it's very important to me that it works long term, not just short term.